Hi there. I am standing on the parcel C16 and I'm looking down towards the road that we came in on, which is Tall Oaks. No, that's not Tall Oaks. Anyhow, I'll get the roads all straightened out, but that's the road we came in down there. You can't really see it from here, but it's not far. This is a pretty gentle terrain. I walked some of it already, and we're just going to take a tour now. There's my truck parked up there. That's the cul-de-sac. So it does end on a cul-de-sac, and very private. The house that's being sold is just right up there through the trees, and there's plenty of space on this parcel to make it very private where you wouldn't have to see that home, but there are certainly spots on the property where you can see the home from here. So here is the cul-de-sac. That's the way we came in. That's the house up there that's being sold, and here's where you would tap into water, phone, and then of course we've got power out here. Okay, so they've done a lot of mitigation. I'm just going to walk through to where they've mitigated. It just really feels like a nice park. There's my crazy puppy. So definitely could just pull right in and bring your camper in, no problem, and start enjoying the place. I'm going to make a little circle around the mitigated area, and they've also put in some really neat pathways along the southern border of this lot, so you can access pretty much this entire property. It is fairly gentle terrain, and I think you'll see that once we get onto that pathway, but I just wanted to show you, looking down here, this is the steepest part of the property. I'll just look over the edge here. So I still think with cleaning out or even just putting in some walking paths, it's still really not that steep. Okay, so we'll go back up and just find that pathway they've already put in and walk that. It's nice to have this mitigation already done so you don't have to do much. Now, if you did want to make this a building site, there are good views of Fisher's Peak through these trees back there. So that could be cleared out a little bit more, and that would give you the view. There's a couple good spots for that, but I'll just reach out here and go. So that's Fisher's Peak right there. And that whole mesa stretches for quite a ways, so you'd have a neat view if that's what you decide to do. So you can see the mitigation from this side now. Very large space to work with. Okay, so this is the walkway or driveway or ATV way that they've put in kind of along the southern border. It's not directly on the southern border. It's kind of nice too, but that'll go off the property line pretty quickly, so we're going to follow this way. if you did decide that you wanted to build out along this driveway area, the building area wouldn't be as large, but it would get you a little bit further away from the neighbors and give you some better views of Fisher's Peak. And Fisher's Peak is the flat top mesa that's very prominent in the skyline of Trinidad. It also was recently purchased by a few different investors, the state of Colorado and the city of Trinidad, to put in the Colorado second largest state park. So that is now open with a couple trail systems. It just happened about a year ago, so they'll be opening more trails as they go along. But definitely a neat addition to the Trinidad area, and bringing a lot of outdoorsy folk to the area as well. So okay, so this is essentially the top area that you could build on. Like I said, it's a smaller platform, but certainly would work. And you have a little driveway already in. You'd have to open up the space a little bit more, but this could definitely be a nice building spot. And this just looks over the valley. And those would be the trees that you'd have to remove to make a building spot back here. That's where we came from. And then there's your view, Fisher's Peak. Wouldn't have to do really anything to have that view. You wouldn't have to take any more trees down or anything. Now this pathway goes down onto another flat area. And this is still the same trail, essentially, that follows that southern edge of the property. And it's really not steep, very gentle again. You could walk, and once we get down to that flatter platform, you could literally continue this trail and walk the entire length of the property line with no problem. So this is about as steep as it gets. Probably can't really tell from the video, but it's fairly gentle. Probably helps that I don't have to walk through bushes to get there, since they've already cleaned it out. Okay. And again, you can start seeing that mesa coming all the way across over to the top of Fisher's Peak. And Fisher's Peak sits at, I believe, 9,500 feet in elevation, so it's quite tall. So this is, essentially as much of the trail that they put in, but just to give you an idea of how really still open it is and how easy it would be to continue this trail. And you get these little bushes that'll come up, but it's easy for me to walk through. You could make a trail going that direction really easily, and this still is pretty open on this side too. I'll go this way so it's a little easier to walk in video. But lots of options with this property for sure. And now that we're really far back into the property, it's very quiet except for the wind, a few birds, my voice, and very private. I mean, you wouldn't have anyone bothering you back here for sure. So Okay, so again, this is not part of the trail that they opened up, I don't think, but it's still very easy to walk through. Wouldn't even have to do anything if you didn't want to. I'll just give you a look about where we came from. And this is where it drops off quite a bit, but this is the very, edge of the property, so you wouldn't be using this at all anyway. This is a neat view of the valley. And it just continues on. We've got some nice rocks in a couple places down here. Even this really is not that steep. You could scramble up and down those rocks easily. All right, well, I believe that's about it. This still continues on, but it'll look about the same as what we've looked at, and rather than continue talking while I'm going to huff and puff up this hill, I will let you go, and we'll talk soon. Thanks so much.